Stop wasting your attention. Stop letting distractions run your life. Every thought, every action, every moment you spend scattered is a moment you will never get back. This is not about motivation. It's about building a mind trained for deep focus, relentless discipline, and high-impact results. In the next hour, I'm going to show you how to rewire your brain, master your daily habits, and turn focus into a superpower. If you are ready to stop drifting and start dominating your life, listen closely. Every word matters. Chapter 1. Stop proving and start doing. You are not here to be seen. You are not here to be praised. You are here to produce. Every hour you spend proving effort is an hour stolen from actual results. That is the key. Stop proving. Start producing. There is a difference between action and progress. Action alone does not create results. Effort without direction is wasted energy. The world does not reward effort. It rewards output. It rewards results. You have a choice. You can choose to spend your time showing effort, or you can choose to create impact. That is the distinction. That is the difference between distraction and focus. Consider the professional who spends hours drafting reports no one reads. Consider the creator who perfects slides while the audience waits. Consider the employee who emails updates instead of solving problems. They are busy. They feel productive. They are not effective. They confuse motion for progress. You have a choice. Stop confusing motion with results. That is the first rule. Measure by output, not by activity. Output is the only metric that matters. Activity is irrelevant unless it produces change. If you produce nothing, you prove nothing. If you produce nothing, you gain nothing. Stop proving. Start producing. Repeat it. Stop proving. Start producing. Let it settle in. Let it govern every action. Top performers understand this. They do not broadcast their preparation. They do not seek approval for effort. They execute. They finish. They deliver. A chess master does not announce his moves. He wins. A scientist does not publicize hypotheses. She proves them. An entrepreneur does not ask permission to act. He creates results. You have a choice. You can seek validation, or you can focus on output. That is the choice. Choose output. There is a psychological trap in proving. It is comforting. It creates the illusion of work. It feels productive. Others see your effort. You hear praise. You feel progress. You do not. It is a mirage. It is a distraction. It is a theft of your most valuable resource, attention. Attention is finite. Time is finite. Energy is finite. Do not waste them proving. That is not production. That is performance. Stop proving. Start producing. Here is a system to break the habit. First, track every task. Every task must either move you closer to a measurable result or be eliminated. Second, define clear output. Output is tangible. It can be measured. It can be observed. Third, audit daily. Did you produce or did you prove? If you prove, stop. Correct immediately. Repeat. This is discipline. Discipline creates results. Discipline replaces the need for approval. You have a choice. Follow the system or continue proving. That is the choice. Stop confusing visibility with value. Visibility is temporary. Value is permanent. Your career, your craft, your life. These are shaped by what you produce, not what you display. People will judge you on outcomes. That is the truth. It does not matter if you were busy. It does not matter if you were consistent in effort. It matters what you delivered. Output. Results. That is the key. Stop proving. Start producing. Repeat. Let it guide every decision. There is another aspect. Effort shown to others is often effort hidden from yourself. When you perform for an audience, you lose control. You optimize for approval. You optimize for perception. You sacrifice substance for recognition. You trade long-term growth for short-term applause. That is not productive. That is proving. Stop proving. Start producing. That is a principle, not a suggestion. Real-world example. Consider the entrepreneur who posts daily updates about strategy. His competitors do not notice his updates. His clients do not benefit from his posts. The only person who sees value is himself, and only briefly. The entrepreneur who spends the same time building the product sees growth, gains clients, increases revenue. Same time, different focus, different output. You have a choice. Choose production. That is the difference. Another example, the athlete who documents workouts instead of performing them. Strength does not come from posts. Speed does not come from likes. Skill does not come from approval. Skill comes from repetition. Discipline comes from execution. Output comes from doing, not proving. Stop proving. Start producing. Repeat it until it is automatic. Repeat it until it is instinct. You may feel resistance. Proving feels safe. It shields you from accountability. It allows excuses. I'm busy, you say. I'm showing effort, you argue. That is the mind rationalizing distraction. That is the mind avoiding results. Do not negotiate with it. That is not production. That is proving. Stop proving. Start producing. That is the rule. Follow it. Repeat it. Internalize it. Here is a practical method. Begin each day with a single measurable output. Define it clearly. State it explicitly. Do not begin until it is measurable. Do not stop until it is complete. No partials. No excuses. Audit at night. Did you produce or did you prove? Correct tomorrow. Repeat. Build momentum. Momentum replaces motivation. Production replaces perception. You have a choice. Follow the system or remain trapped in proving. Notice how simple this is. It is not complicated. It is not entertaining. It does not require hype. It is firm. It is structured. That is the point. Complexity is often a mask for avoidance. Discipline is straightforward. Execution is direct. Systems create consistency. You do not need approval. You do not need validation. You do not need recognition. You need production. Stop proving. Start producing. That is the principle. That is the system. That is the rule. Another rule: eliminate public performance rituals. Emails, posts, status updates, explanations. If the task does not create output, eliminate it. If it only creates perception, discard it. Simplify. Focus. Execute. Stop proving. Start producing. That is the distinction between motion and results, between distraction and focus, between effort and impact. You have a choice. Follow this rule or remain busy. Internalize this. Output is measurable. Output is tangible. Output creates influence, control, and opportunity. Proof is temporary. Proof is fleeting. Proof is invisible to the results that matter. That is the truth. Stop proving. Start producing. That is the standard. That is the expectation. That is the system. Now, consider the connection to the next principle: discipline. Discipline is what sustains production when motivation fades. Discipline is what converts intention into results. Discipline ensures that you produce even when the world is not watching. Discipline is built by repetition. Discipline is built by rules. Stop proving. Start producing. That is your foundation. From here, you will learn to create the systems that enforce discipline, to ensure output, and to maintain focus regardless of external forces. That is the bridge to Chapter 2. Discipline is non-negotiable. You have a choice. You can continue proving, or you can produce. That is your starting point. Begin now. Build the habit. Repeat it relentlessly. Stop proving. Start producing. You will thank yourself. You will see results. You will create the foundation for mastery. And from here, discipline will cement your production into long-term achievement. Chapter 2. Discipline is non-negotiable. Discipline is not optional. Discipline is not negotiable. Discipline is the bridge between goals and results. Without it, intention is meaningless. Without it, talent is wasted. Without it, systems collapse. You have a choice. You can rely on fleeting motivation, or you can build discipline. That is the difference between failure and success. That is the difference between good and great. Discipline is the habit of doing what must be done, even when you do not feel like it. Discipline is the daily commitment to follow through. Discipline is the refusal to let excuses dictate your actions. Motivation is temporary. Inspiration is fleeting. Discipline is permanent. That is the key. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Repeat it. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Let's settle. Let govern every decision you make. Consider the athlete who trains every day, rain or shine, injured or tired. The athlete does not rely on enthusiasm. She relies on ritual. She relies on schedule. She relies on repetition. Every lap, every rep, every drill is an investment in skill. Every missed session erodes potential. Discipline turns effort into results. Discipline turns routine into mastery. You have a choice. You can skip a session because you don't feel like it, or you can show up and build the edge that others cannot match. That is the principle. Consider the CEO who starts her day at 4 a.m. She follows a strict morning routine: meditation, planning, exercise, strategic review. She does not negotiate with comfort. She does not rely on fleeting motivation. She executes daily, consistently. Discipline creates predictability. Discipline creates leverage. Discipline allows her to compound her decisions into long-term impact. Without discipline, her vision is an idea. With discipline, her vision is reality. You have a choice. Follow the schedule or drift. That is the rule. Creatives are no different. The writer who writes a page every day. The musician who practices scales before inspiration arrives. The painter who draws sketches daily. They produce results not because they are motivated, but because they are disciplined. Repetition builds skill. Repetition builds momentum. Repetition builds results. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Repeat. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. That is not advice. That is fact. Discipline requires structure. It requires systems. It requires rules that are enforced without exception. Start by defining your non-negotiables. These are actions that must occur daily. These are habits that are not subject to mood, energy, or desire. They are required. Miss them, and you break the chain. Maintain them, and you build momentum. You have a choice. Maintain the chain, or watch it collapse. That is the consequence. That is the system. Here is a practical system to enforce discipline. Step 1. Define the top 3 non-negotiable actions that produce results. Step 2. Assign each action a fixed time each day. Step 3. Measure completion. Step 4. Audit weekly. Step 5. Adjust, remove distractions, and repeat. That is the framework. That is the rule. That is the process. Discipline is not abstract. Discipline is measurable. Discipline is enforceable. You have a choice. Follow the system or fail. Resistance will appear. Laziness, comfort, distraction, doubt. These are predictable. These are universal. They're not signs to stop. They're signals to act. Discipline is action despite resistance. Discipline is commitment despite doubt. Discipline is consistency despite comfort. Motivation is optional. Discipline is mandatory. Repeat, discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Let anchor your mind. Let guide your actions. You do not need permission. You do not need approval. You do not need validation. You only need the system. You only need the rules. You only need the habit. Discipline is the structure that removes negotiation. Discipline is the framework that removes debate. Discipline is the force that turns effort into results. You have a choice: build the structure or drift in chaos. That is the consequence. That is the reality. Consider habits as units of discipline. Each habit is a block in your foundation. Each repeated action strengthens the structure. Miss a habit, and you weaken the foundation. Maintain a habit, and you solidify the base. Non-negotiable actions compound. Results compound. Momentum compounds. Discipline is compounding applied to behavior. That is the rule. That is the principle. That is the system. You have a choice: build the foundation or watch it crumble. Discipline is not glamorous. It is not visible. It does not earn applause. It is invisible to the outside world. The world sees outcomes, not routines. The world rewards results, not habits. You will not be recognized for showing up. You will be recognized for producing consistently. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Repeat. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Let it govern your choices. Let it dictate your schedule. Let it define your standards. Here is an example. The investor who studies markets daily for an hour. He is not inspired every day. He is not motivated every day. He follows a plan. He follows the system. He follows the ritual. Over time, knowledge compounds. Decisions improve. Opportunities appear. Results are the natural consequence. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Systems enforce discipline. You have a choice: follow the process or remain average. Another example: the coder who writes 500 lines every day. He is not creative on demand. He is not inspired on demand. He is disciplined. He executes. Every line builds skill. Every day builds momentum. Every month produces a body of work. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Repetition is the path. Execution is the measure. Results are the proof. You have a choice: follow through or stagnate. Your mind will resist. You will rationalize. You will complain. That is natural. Discipline overrides rationalization. Discipline overrides emotion. Discipline overrides excuses. You do not negotiate with discipline. You enforce it. You repeat it. You measure it. You sustain it. You have a choice: enforce discipline or surrender your potential. That is the rule. That is the system. That is the reality. Internalize this. The bridge from intention to impact is built with discipline. Goals are maps. Results are destinations. Discipline is the vehicle. Without it, you never arrive. Without it, you wander. Without it, effort is wasted. That is the truth. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Repeat. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Let this principle anchor every day, every action, every habit. You have a choice. Choose discipline. Now, consider the link to the next principle: focus. Discipline alone does not create results if attention is scattered. Focus is the mechanism that channels discipline into high-impact outcomes. Discipline builds the capacity. Focus directs it. The next chapter will teach you to guard your attention, prioritize what matters, and eliminate what distracts. Discipline will be useless without focus. That is the transition. That is the bridge to Chapter 3, the silent cost of seeking validation. You have a choice. You can rely on talent. You can rely on motivation. You can rely on excuses. Or you can build discipline. You can enforce the system. You can produce results consistently. That is the difference between those who succeed and those who remain ordinary. Discipline is non-negotiable. Discipline beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Repeat. Anchor it in your mind. Build the system. Follow the process. Execute. Chapter 3. The silent cost of seeking validation. Approval is not necessary. Approval is not earned through effort alone. Approval is earned through results. That is the key. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. Repeat it. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. Let it anchor your mind. Let guide your actions. Seeking approval divides your attention. Every glance at recognition steals focus. Every thought about perception fragments your energy. Attention is finite. Energy is finite. Momentum is finite. When you chase approval, you surrender these critical resources. That is the cost. That is the truth. You have a choice. You can waste your energy seeking validation, or you can invest it in producing results. That is the decision. Consider the individual trapped in social comparison. She scrolls through achievements of others. She measures herself against the lives she sees online. She judges her worth based on likes, comments, or praise. Hours pass. Energy is drained. Focus is fractured. Progress is halted. All because she seeks approval. That is the silent cost. That is the price of distraction. You have a choice. Attention on others or attention on your output. That is the principle. The same applies in professional settings. Employees who constantly ask for feedback or validation delay decisions. Leaders who over-explain themselves waste authority. Teams who prioritize consensus over action slow execution. Validation becomes a substitute for results. Energy shifts from producing to proving. Momentum stops. That is the system at work. You have a choice. Focus on outcomes, or be consumed by perception. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. Repeat it. Even creatives fall prey to this. Writers waiting for praise before writing the next chapter. Musicians waiting for applause before practicing scales. Artists revising endlessly to meet imagined standards. They confuse recognition with progress. They mistake attention for value. The world does not reward waiting. It rewards producing. You have a choice. Release the need for approval. Focus on output. Let results speak. That is the rule. Here is a practical system to break approval seeking. First, define your measurable output. What is tangible? What is observable? What creates impact? Ignore everything else. Second, track your progress privately. Keep a log of actions completed, results achieved, and problems solved. Third, audit daily. Did you act for results or did you act for perception? Correct immediately. Repeat daily. This builds focus. This builds momentum. This builds discipline. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. That is the system. Resistance will appear. Your mind will argue. I need their opinion. I want them to notice. I need to feel accepted. These are predictable. These are normal. They are not justification. They are signals. Discipline responds to signals with action, not validation. Discipline focuses on output. Discipline ignores perception. Discipline produces results. Repeat. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. You have a choice. Focus on results. Ignore the noise. Consider real-world examples. The athlete who trains in silence. No audience. No applause. No validation. She improves consistently. Her results accumulate. Competitions reveal her skill. Recognition follows impact, not effort. She does not chase attention. She enforces discipline. Momentum grows. Performance rises. That is the principle. That is the system. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. The entrepreneur who builds a product before marketing it. She does not wait for praise. She does not seek validation from peers. She delivers value. Customers notice. Revenue follows. Recognition is a byproduct of impact, not the reason for effort. She understands the silent cost of approval seeking. You have a choice. Create first. Validate later. Focus on output. Results are your proof. Repeat it. Now consider the cost to mental clarity. When you measure worth externally, you fragment attention. Your mind splits between production and perception. Productivity declines. Quality declines. Creativity declines. Momentum stalls. Every hour spent seeking validation is an hour lost from doing. That is the silent cost. That is the consequence of distraction. That is the reality. You have a choice. Guard your attention. Focus on results. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. Repeat. Here is a rule. Treat recognition as irrelevant during execution. Do not check social media while working. Do not announce work in progress. Do not seek feedback before completion. Protect focus. Protect energy. Protect momentum. Build a system where output is measured, not applause. Build a schedule where action precedes validation. You have a choice. Protect the system. Ignore validation. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. Repeat it. Another system. Implement accountability through results, not perception. Set measurable goals. Track tangible outcomes. Review completed work, not compliments. Correct mistakes based on results, not opinions. Enforce rigor. Maintain discipline. This is how progress is guaranteed. This is how momentum is maintained. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. You have a choice. Follow the system. Focus on output. Let results validate you. You will face temptation. Praise is seductive. Recognition feels rewarding. Others will notice effort, even if it produces nothing. Do not fall into the trap. Effort without impact is wasted energy. Validation without output is meaningless. The world does not reward trying. It rewards completing. It rewards executing. Repeat. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. Let guide every decision. Let govern every habit. Internalize this. The only proof that matters is output. Everything else is noise. Recognition follows production. Momentum follows focus. Energy follows attention. Validation without results fractures the mind. Producing without distraction builds the mind. Discipline, focus, and systems replace the need for applause. That is the principle. That is the reality. You have a choice. Focus on production. Ignore perception. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. Repeat it. Consider the link to the next principle. Attention. Once you release the need for validation, you must protect your focus. Distraction is everywhere. Social comparison, opinions, and noise will attempt to steal your attention. The next chapter will teach you how to guard your mind, prioritize high-value actions, and channel your energy toward measurable results. Mastering attention is the next step. Discipline alone is not enough if your focus is fractured. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. That is the bridge to Chapter 4. Systems beat goals every time. You have a choice. You can act to please others. You can act for perception, or you can act to produce. Choose production. Choose impact. Choose results. That is the standard. That is the rule. That is the system. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. Repeat it. Let it govern your actions. Let it guide your energy. Let it define your output. Build momentum. Build focus. Build results. Chapter 4. Systems beat goals every time. Goals are fragile. They are promises you make to yourself about the future. They are intentions. They create hope. They inspire brief bursts of effort, but they do not guarantee results. Systems do. Systems create reality. That is the key. Systems enforce action. Systems produce output. Systems compound into results. You have a choice. You can rely on hope, or you can rely on structure. That is the distinction. A goal is a destination. A system is the vehicle. You can set the most ambitious goal in the world, but without a system, it is only a wish. Without structure, goals are fragile. Without discipline, goals fade. Without repetition, goals remain ideas. Systems, however, are durable. Systems are repeatable. Systems do not rely on motivation. Systems enforce execution. Repeat, a system today beats a goal tomorrow. Let it settle. Let it govern every action. Consider the professional who writes a goal. I will write a book this year. Motivation is high at first. She feels inspired. She starts drafting. But weeks pass. Inspiration fades. Excuses appear. Time is lost. The goal alone cannot carry her. Now consider a system. She writes 1,000 words every morning. She schedules it. She measures it. She repeats it daily. Results accumulate. Momentum grows. Output is guaranteed. Systems enforce consistency. Goals alone cannot. A system today beats a goal tomorrow. Repeat it. The difference is simple. A goal is a target. A system is a routine. Targets require conditions to align. Energy, inspiration, opportunity. Systems do not wait. Systems act regardless of conditions. Systems remove negotiation. Systems remove debate. Systems remove reliance on fleeting emotions. You have a choice. Wait for conditions or act. Build the system. That is the rule. Here is a step-by-step method to build a system that produces results. Step 1. Define the high-value actions. Identify the behaviors that create measurable output, not tasks that feel important, not actions that look busy. True high-value actions. Only these go into the system. Step 2. Schedule the actions. Assign a fixed time each day. Build routine. Consistency is non-negotiable. Execution must be automatic. Do not negotiate. Do not skip. Do not delay. Step 3. Measure completion. Track results daily. Track progress weekly. Track momentum monthly. Without measurement, the system fails. Discipline alone is not enough. Systems require feedback. Repeat measurement. Correct errors. Optimize. Step 4. Remove friction. Identify obstacles that prevent execution. Reduce decisions. Simplify the environment. Automate repetitive tasks. The fewer barriers, the stronger the system. Step 5. Repeat relentlessly. Systems compound. Daily actions, repeated without fail, create exponential results over time. Goals cannot create this compounding. Systems do. A system today beats a goal tomorrow. Repeat. Embed it. Enforce it. Consider the athlete who sets a goal. I will get faster. She runs when she feels like it. She rests when tired. Progress is inconsistent. Now she follows a system. She runs 4 days per week. She lifts weights twice a week. She tracks times, intervals, and recovery. Performance improves predictably. The system guarantees output. Goals alone cannot. Systems enforce progress. That is the principle. Consider the entrepreneur who wants to grow revenue. A goal. I will earn $100,000 this year. Outcome is uncertain. External factors intervene. A system. Call 5 clients daily. Follow up with leads. Post content 3 times a week. Review metrics weekly. Execution is measurable. Momentum is predictable. Results are the consequence of a system. A system today beats a goal tomorrow. Repeat. Anchor it. Enforce it. The mind resists systems. Systems are boring. Systems feel restrictive. Systems are invisible. Goals feel exciting. Goals feel inspiring. Goals feel rewarding in the moment. That is why most fail. The mind seeks immediate gratification. Systems demand consistency. Systems require discipline. Systems produce results. You have a choice. follow the system, or chase the illusion. A system today beats a goal tomorrow. Repeat it. Here is a critical rule. Never confuse a goal with a system. A goal is a destination. A system is action. Goal-focused thinking prioritizes outcomes over process. System-focused thinking prioritizes process over outcomes. Without consistent process, outcomes are unreliable. With rigorous process, outcomes become inevitable. You have a choice. Follow process or hope. That is the standard. That is the system. Systems also reduce mental load. When rules dictate action, the mind does not negotiate. When routines are clear, decisions are minimal. When habits are enforced, execution becomes automatic. The system frees attention for higher-level strategy and creativity. Without systems, mental energy is wasted on deciding what to do. With systems, energy is reserved for doing. You have a choice. Reserve your energy. Enforce the system. A system today beats a goal tomorrow. Repeat. Consider the creative professional, a painter with a goal. I want to complete a series this year. Motivation fluctuates. Execution falters. Now a system. Paint for 2 hours daily, sketch one concept daily, review work weekly. Execution is automatic. Output accumulates. Skill improves. Momentum compounds. Systems guarantee results. Goals alone do not. That is the rule. That is the principle. Repeat. A system today beats a goal tomorrow. Resistance will arise. You may want freedom. You may resist structure. You may claim creativity is stifled by routines. Ignore it. Systems do not restrict. Systems enable. Systems automate focus. Systems enforce discipline. Systems convert effort into results. Without them, goals remain wishes. Without them, momentum dies. Without them, attention fragments. You have a choice. Build systems, or remain dependent on hope. A system today beats a goal tomorrow. Repeat. Internalize this. A goal sets direction. A system sets execution. Direction without execution is meaningless. Execution without direction is chaotic. Both are required, but the system guarantees progress. The goal does not. Discipline is embedded in the system. Focus is embedded in the system. Momentum is embedded in the system. That is the principle. That is the reality. You have a choice. Build the system. A system today beats a goal tomorrow. Repeat. Now, consider the link to the next chapter, attention and validation. Systems enforce output, but if your mind chases approval, your execution falters. The next chapter will teach you to eliminate approval seeking, protect attention, and direct energy toward measurable results. Discipline and systems are necessary, but focus is the multiplier. Approval is a distraction. Results are your proof. That is the bridge to Chapter 5. Your attention is your currency. You have a choice. You can rely on hope. You can rely on goals. Or you can rely on systems. Follow the system. Track the output. Eliminate friction. Repeat daily. Produce results. That is the standard. That is the rule. That is the system. A system today beats the goal tomorrow. Repeat it. Anchor it. Enforce it. Execute. Chapter 5. Your attention is your currency. Attention is finite. Attention is scarce. Attention is the most valuable resource you possess. You cannot earn more. You cannot store it. You cannot borrow it. Every distraction is a withdrawal from your potential. Every interruption diminishes your power. Every divided focus reduces output. You have a choice. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat it. Guard your attention like gold. Let it anchor your mind. Let it dictate your actions. Most people give attention freely. They scroll. They multitask. They react. They chase novelty. They respond to notifications. They fragment their focus. They mistake activity for productivity. That is the silent theft. That is the invisible drain. That is the cost of inattention. You have a choice. Guard your attention. Invest it in what matters. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat it. Consider the professional who multitasks. She writes an email while attending a meeting. She answers messages while preparing a report. She divides energy across too many points. Output suffers. Mistakes increase. Momentum falters. Time is lost. Potential is lost. That is the cost. That is the principle. Attention is finite. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat. Single tasking is the first rule. Focus on one task, one action, one objective at a time. Do not shift. Do not fragment. Complete before moving on. The mind is not designed for simultaneous high-level tasks. Multitasking is a myth. It dilutes focus. It reduces execution. You have a choice. Single task or scatter your energy. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat it. Intentional pauses are the second rule. Build moments of silence into your day. Stop constantly consuming. Stop constantly reacting. Allow your mind to reset. Pause to think. Pause to observe. Pause to plan. Pauses preserve attention. Pauses restore energy. Pauses increase clarity. You have a choice. Ignore pause and waste attention, or schedule it and reclaim focus. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat it. Boundaries are the third rule. Set limits on what enters your mind. Define work hours. Silence notifications. Restrict social media. Protect the environment in which attention resides. Boundaries are the walls that preserve your mental currency. Without them, distraction floods in. With them, focus is maintained. You have a choice. Build boundaries or lose control. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat it. Real-world examples. The CEO who isolates for 2 hours daily. Phone off, email closed, no interruptions. Strategy deepens. Decisions improve. Execution accelerates. Attention becomes leverage. Contrast. The CEO who responds to every ping, every message, every opinion. Decisions are fragmented. Momentum slows. Energy is depleted. Output declines. Attention is currency. Guard it like gold. Repeat. Consider the writer who schedules 2 uninterrupted hours daily to craft. No notifications. No messages. No distractions. Work is deep. Ideas flourish. Output accumulates. Compare to the writer who answers texts mid-paragraph, checks social feeds mid-chapter. Progress stalls. Distraction steals results. Attention is currency. Guard it like gold. Repeat. The system is simple but requires rigor. Step 1. Identify your high-value tasks. Step 2. Define the periods where you will work on them without interruption. Step 3. Eliminate all external distractions during that time. Step 4. Pause intentionally between tasks. Step 5. Measure your focus daily. Step 6. Adjust boundaries as necessary. Repeat daily. Attention compounds like capital. Guard it like gold. Repeat it. Distraction is a tax. The world taxes your attention constantly. Notifications, emails, opinions, requests, social media, advertising. Every fragment divides energy. Every interruption steals momentum. Every hour spent reacting is an hour lost from producing. Discipline alone is not enough if attention is fragmented. Systems enforce focus. Boundaries protect it. Pauses restore it. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat. You will encounter resistance. The mind seeks novelty. The mind seeks stimulation. The mind craves external validation. Ignore it. Attention is not given. Attention is earned. Attention is not free. Attention is your most valuable resource. Protect it rigorously. Protect it consistently. Protect it systematically. You have a choice. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat it. Internalize this. Every decision about what you allow into your mind has consequence. Every thought, every message, every task competes for focus. Every misallocation is a withdrawal from potential. Every protected allocation is an investment. Investment compounds. Momentum grows. Results accumulate. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat. Another system. Define attention blocks. 2 hours in the morning. 2 hours in the afternoon. During blocks, only high-value work. No social media. No meetings unless critical. No distractions. Observe the result. Output increases. Stress decreases. Clarity improves. The system preserves currency. You have a choice. Build attention blocks. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat it. Mental clarity is preserved through repetition. Each protected block strengthens focus. Each intentional pause restores energy. Each boundary enforces execution. Compounded over time, attention becomes a lever. Output becomes exponential. Results are guaranteed. Momentum becomes predictable. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat it. Do not confuse activity with attention. Busy does not equal productive. Multitasking is a myth. Notifications are poison. Meetings without purpose are drains. Social comparison is theft. Do not surrender your mental currency. Do not allow attention to be borrowed. Do not disperse focus. You have a choice. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat it. Consider the bridge to the next chapter. Once attention is guarded, your focus must be aligned with high-value priorities. The mind is free, but action must be deliberate. The next chapter will teach the silent cost of seeking validation, the ways perception fragments attention, and how to maintain momentum through consistent output. Attention is currency. Guard it like gold. That is the bridge to Chapter 6. Kill the urgency addiction. You have a choice. You can allow distraction to steal your potential. You can fragment your focus. Or you can protect attention, enforce boundaries, pause intentionally, and single task deliberately. Guard your attention like gold. Repeat it. Let it govern your schedule. Let it guide your energy. Let it define your output. Momentum is the reward. Clarity is the proof. Results are inevitable. Guard your attention like gold. Chapter 6. Kill the urgency addiction. Urgency is seductive. It screams. It demands attention. It pressures you to act. It feels important. It creates a false sense of productivity. Most urgent tasks are not important. They are distractions disguised as necessity. That is the key. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat it. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Let it anchor your decisions. Let it dictate your priorities. Consider the professional who reacts to every email. She answers immediately. She responds to every request. She treats interruptions as urgent. Meetings consume the day. By the evening, high-value work remains untouched. Urgency creates motion, not progress. Urgency fragments focus. Urgency steals energy. Momentum stalls. You have a choice. Respond to urgency, or focus on what matters. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat. The corporate employee caught in back-to-back meetings experiences the same trap. Each meeting is urgent. Each memo demands immediate review. Each request appears critical. But most of these tasks do not contribute to results. They serve perception, not output. They maintain appearances, not impact. The work that moves the needle is neglected. Energy is wasted. Focus is diluted. That is the silent cost. You have a choice. Prioritize value over urgency. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat it. Even in creative settings, urgency is a thief. The artist who answers messages mid-painting. The writer who interrupts flow to respond to commentary. The musician who checks social media during practice. Urgency distracts. Urgency fragments attention. Urgency delays mastery. High-value actions are neglected. Momentum is lost. Attention is depleted. You have a choice. Kill urgency. Focus on value. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat. Urgency creates stress. It triggers the mind to react instead of plan. It conditions the brain to chase minor fires. You move from one important task to another, but the cumulative effect is motion without direction. You feel busy. You feel productive. You are not. High-value work is postponed. Goals are delayed. Results are deferred. That is the silent penalty. You have a choice. Respond to the loudest voice or to the highest value. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat it. Here is the system to manage urgency effectively. Step 1. Categorize tasks. Label actions as high value or low value. High-value tasks contribute measurable outcomes. Low-value tasks serve perception, convenience, or habit. Step 2. Schedule high-value tasks first. Before responding to emails, before reacting to interruptions, complete critical work. Step 3. Set boundaries. Silence notifications. Limit meetings. Decline low-value requests. Step 4. Audit daily. Measure your output, not your activity. Step 5. Repeat. Momentum compounds. Focus grows. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat. Consider the executive who delays strategic planning for urgent, operational emails. She appears busy. She responds to crises. She puts out small fires. She avoids the high-leverage work that grows the business. Hours pass. Days pass. Progress stalls. Now consider a system where she blocks 2 hours each morning for strategic work. Emails are deferred. Meetings are declined. Output multiplies. Urgency is managed. Focus is enforced. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat it. Even minor distractions create cumulative damage. A 5-minute interruption every hour totals hours lost. A constant reaction to notifications fragments attention. Each moment spent responding is a moment not producing. Urgency conditions the mind to value reaction over creation. That is the trap. That is the silent theft. You have a choice. Invest energy in high-value actions or chase false urgency. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat. Here is a practical rule. Treat every task as a decision. Ask, does this action produce measurable results? Does it move the needle? Does it advance high-value objectives? If the answer is no, defer, delegate, or decline. Do not respond because it feels urgent. Urgency is not authority. Loudness is not importance. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat it. Systems enforce this principle. Schedule high-value work first. Create buffers for low-value interruptions. Set explicit rules for responding to requests. Track the time spent on urgent tasks versus critical tasks. Measure the ratio. Correct daily. Maintain boundaries. The system prevents urgency from stealing momentum. The system preserves focus. The system guarantees progress. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat. Resistance will appear. Others will insist their task is urgent. The mind will crave action because urgency triggers adrenaline. You may feel compelled to respond immediately. Ignore it. Discipline prioritizes impact over noise. Systems enforce consistency. Focus preserves energy. Attention follows value. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat it. Internalize this. Time is finite. Energy is finite. Attention is finite. Every moment spent on minor urgency is a withdrawal from potential. Every high-value action postponed is an opportunity lost. Urgency is seductive, but it is rarely aligned with results. Protect your schedule. Protect your energy. Protect your focus. You have a choice. Kill urgency. Prioritize value. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat. Consider the creative professional who schedules practice time, writing time, and deep work first. Urgent requests, notifications, and social distractions are deferred. Momentum grows. Skill compounds. Projects are completed. By contrast, the professional who reacts to every ping never completes meaningful work. Urgency dominates. Progress stalls. Attention fragments. Energy depletes. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat it. The bridge to the next chapter. Once urgency is under control, attention and energy can be fully aligned with compounding progress. The next chapter will teach the principle of small, consistent improvements, the 1% daily edge, and how to make incremental action unstoppable. Urgency is eliminated, but focus must now convert to consistent growth. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. That is the bridge to Chapter 7. Master the 1% daily edge. You have a choice. You can chase the loudest distractions. You can respond to every ping, alert, and demand. Or you can protect your schedule. You can focus on high-value work. You can kill urgency. Not all that screams for attention deserves it. Repeat it. Anchor it. Enforce it. Execute. Momentum grows. Results follow. Discipline compounds. Chapter 7. Master the 1% daily edge. Progress is rarely dramatic. Results are rarely instant. Success is built in small increments. Marginal gains, repeated daily, compound into unstoppable momentum. That is the key. Focus on small wins every single day. Repeat it. Focus on small wins every single day. Let it guide every action. Let it govern every habit. Let it define every decision. Top performers understand this. The athlete who improves 1% each day becomes exponentially stronger over months. The writer who edits one paragraph each day produces a book over time. The entrepreneur who improves operations 1% daily grows a business steadily. Compounding is not theoretical. It is practical. It is measurable. It is inevitable when systems are followed. You have a choice. Embrace small, consistent progress or chase dramatic, unreliable results. Focus on small wins every single day. The principle is simple. Identify the high-leverage actions that matter. Break them into daily increments. Execute those increments consistently. Measure progress. Repeat daily. No shortcuts. No excuses. Momentum builds invisibly at first. Then it accelerates. It becomes unstoppable. That is the power of the 1% edge. Repeat. Focus on small wins every single day. Consider the professional athlete. Each day, she focuses on a specific skill, improving 1% in speed, strength, or technique. The improvement is barely noticeable in isolation. But after 30 days, skill has compounded. After 6 months, performance is markedly superior. After a year, mastery is evident. This is the difference between average and elite. Repetition matters more than intensity alone. Focus on small wins every single day. Repeat it. The same applies to knowledge work. A programmer who learns one new concept per day gradually builds a foundation of expertise. A writer who writes 250 words daily produces 90,000 words in a year. The gains are small, almost invisible day to day. The results are staggering over time. That is the system. That is the rule. That is compounding applied to behavior. You have a choice. Commit to the incremental process. Focus on small wins every single day. Here is a practical method. Step 1. List the core actions that drive results. Identify behaviors that, when compounded, produce exponential outcomes. Step 2. Divide these actions into daily increments. Keep them achievable. Keep them measurable. Step 3. Enforce consistency. Do not skip. Do not delay. Step 4. Track progress. Visual feedback reinforces momentum. Step 5. Adjust as needed. Refine, optimize, repeat. That is the system. That is the process. Focus on small wins every single day. Repeat it. Resistance will appear. Results feel slow. Gains feel invisible. The mind demands immediate reward. Ignore it. Compounding is invisible at first. Success accumulates quietly. Momentum strengthens invisibly. The small edge is the foundation of mastery. High leverage is not about sudden breakthroughs. It is about consistent execution. You have a choice. Commit to the long-term process or chase short-term illusions. Focus on small wins every single day. Consider the entrepreneur who improves operations by 1% daily. One process becomes slightly more efficient each day. One client interaction becomes slightly better each day. One marketing message becomes slightly more compelling each day. The improvement is minor in isolation. But after months, productivity is multiplied. Revenue grows predictably. Momentum compounds. That is the principle. That is the system. That is the proof. You have a choice. Execute incrementally or chase large, unreliable leaps. Focus on small wins every single day. Repeat. Small wins build confidence. Each completed action reinforces discipline. Each measurable output confirms capability. Momentum strengthens motivation. Motivation is secondary. Discipline is primary. Execution compounds. Results accumulate. The cycle is automatic. The small edge becomes unstoppable. Focus on small wins every single day. Repeat it. Let it guide every task, every project, every decision. Even failure compounds when repeated. If the wrong actions are repeated daily, poor habits solidify. That is why focus is critical. The 1% edge only works on high-value behaviors. Identify what matters. Repeat it consistently. Measure progress. Refine. Eliminate what does not contribute. Momentum compounds on the right inputs. Waste multiplies on the wrong ones. You have a choice. Compound value or compound distraction. Focus on small wins every single day. The psychological advantage is profound. Small wins reduce overwhelm. Large goals feel distant. The 1% edge breaks progress into digestible increments. Daily action eliminates procrastination. Daily progress reinforces commitment. Daily wins compound into mastery. The system enforces attention, output, and consistency. Focus on small wins every single day. Repeat. Here is another system. Review your daily actions every evening. Ask, did I execute the incremental steps? Did I focus on high-value behaviors? Did I maintain consistency? Correct deficiencies immediately. Adjust the increments. Reinforce the habit. Repeat daily. Small daily adjustments compound into significant outcomes. Focus on small wins every single day. Repeat it. Internalize this principle. Massive results are rarely the product of sudden breakthroughs. Massive results are the product of repeated, small, deliberate actions. The mind underestimates compounding because the early gains are invisible. Ignore perception. Ignore the short term. Trust the process. Follow the system. Momentum compounds. Results are inevitable. Focus on small wins every single day. Repeat it. Consider the bridge to the next chapter. Once you master incremental progress, your environment becomes critical. The 1% edge is magnified or destroyed by surroundings. The next chapter will teach how to design your environment to enforce habits, eliminate distractions, and amplify momentum. Execution alone is insufficient if the system around you undermines focus. Focus on small wins every single day. That is the bridge to Chapter 8, Environment Controls Energy. You have a choice. You can chase dramatic, unreliable progress. You can wait for breakthroughs. Or you can act incrementally, consistently, and deliberately. You can build momentum that compounds invisibly. You can accumulate mastery. You can enforce the system. Focus on small wins every single day. Repeat it. Anchor it. Enforce it. Execute. Momentum grows. Results follow. Chapter 8. Environment Controls Energy. Your environment is not neutral. It shapes your thoughts. It shapes your habits. It shapes your focus. Disorder in your surroundings produces disorder in your mind. Noise in your environment produces distraction in your attention. Clutter steals energy. Chaos fragments execution. That is the key. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Let it govern every decision. Let it dictate every action. Most people underestimate the power of surroundings. They believe willpower alone is sufficient. They rely on motivation to push through distraction. That is a false premise. Motivation is temporary. Willpower is limited. Systems fail if the environment undermines them. The physical space, the digital space, and the social space determine what can and cannot be achieved. You have a choice. Arrange your environment to support progress. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Consider the minimalist workspace. A desk with only essential tools. No clutter. No distractions. Every item serves purpose. The mind is calm. Attention is focused. Output increases. Contrast this with a chaotic desk. Papers piled high, notifications pinging, multiple devices open. Attention is divided. Energy is wasted. Progress is slowed. The environment enforces behavior. You have a choice. Simplify or scatter. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Digital boundaries are equally critical. Endless notifications. Constant alerts. Open tabs demanding attention. Social media pulling focus. Each digital intrusion fragments your mind. Each alert steals energy. Each ping interrupts flow. Systems and discipline are undermined by chaotic digital space. Protect it. Limit it. Close unnecessary apps. Silence notifications. Allocate digital time intentionally. You have a choice. Guard your mental bandwidth. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Deep work zones amplify focus. A designated space for high-value work. Free from interruptions. Free from distraction. Free from social obligations. These zones enforce discipline without negotiation. When you enter, your mind knows to execute. When you leave, the world resumes. Repetition becomes easier. Momentum compounds. Energy is preserved. Productivity becomes predictable. You have a choice. Design deep work zones or surrender focus. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Even social environments are influential. Associates who distract, environments that demand attention for trivial matters, or teams that reward busyness over output, all compromise focus. Align with individuals and spaces that amplify productivity. Remove or limit exposure to environments that fragment energy. Surroundings either enhance your system or erode it. You have a choice. Curate your social environment. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Systems extend naturally into your environment. Physical, minimalist desk, organized tools, essential items only. Digital, Close tabs, scheduled email checks, notifications silenced. Social, aligned peers, boundaries enforced, distractions minimized. Environment becomes a silent enforcer of your discipline. The easier the environment supports the system, the less negotiation is required. Execution becomes automatic. Momentum compounds. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Consider the creative professional, a writer who closes email, silences phone, and works in a quiet room. Ideas flow. Output accumulates. Energy is preserved. By contrast, a writer who responds to messages mid-paragraph, works in a noisy cafe, or keeps social media open produces inconsistently. Energy is fragmented. Progress is slowed. The environment enforces behavior whether you realize it or not. You have a choice. Optimize surroundings or accept scattered focus. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Another example. The entrepreneur who blocks 2 hours in a digital-free workspace. All distractions removed. Deep focus achieved. Critical decisions made efficiently. Compounding growth occurs over weeks and months. Contrast, responding constantly to Slack, checking emails every 10 minutes, and attending unnecessary meetings. Output is erratic. Energy is depleted. Momentum stalls. Environment controls energy. Discipline alone cannot overcome poor surroundings. You have a choice. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Practical steps. Step 1. Remove clutter from physical space. Keep only essentials. Step 2. Schedule digital boundaries. Silence notifications. Close and used apps. Batch messages. Step 3. Create deep work zones. Allocate time and space for focused execution. Step 4. Manage social energy. Align with productive influences. Limit disruptive interactions. Step 5. Audit weekly. Adjust as necessary. Refine surroundings to enforce systems and output. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Resistance will appear. Comfort seeks distraction. Habits favor old environments. Social pressure demands engagement. Ignore it. The environment is your ally. Systems fail if surroundings are compromised. Optimize the space. Eliminate unnecessary complexity. Enforce boundaries. Energy is preserved. Momentum is amplified. Focus is predictable. You have a choice. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Internalize this. The system is only as strong as the environment that supports it. Even the most disciplined individual struggles in chaotic surroundings. Even the best routines collapse in the face of distraction. Energy flows to what is easiest. Habits follow paths of least resistance. Build your environment to enforce success. Remove friction. Minimize distraction. Maximize output. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Even minor environmental adjustments have outsized effects. One clear desk. One silence phone. One uninterrupted block of time. One aligned peer. These small changes compound daily. They reinforce habits. They enforce focus. They protect attention. Momentum accelerates. The mind becomes a tool rather than a victim of surroundings. You have a choice. Optimize your environment. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Consider the bridge to the next chapter. Once your environment supports execution, your habits compound. The next chapter will teach the principle of reflection and self-correction, the power of reviewing actions, and the system of continuous improvement. Environment controls energy, but mastery requires feedback. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. That is the bridge to Chapter 9. Review, reflect, reinforce. You have a choice. You can allow chaos to dictate focus. You can accept distraction as normal, or you can curate your surroundings. You can enforce digital, physical, and social boundaries. You can build deep work zones. You can preserve energy. You can amplify momentum. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Repeat it. Let it govern your actions. Let it dictate your focus. Let it enforce your system. Energy is your tool. Use it wisely. Shape your environment. Shape your mind. Chapter 9. Flow is not luck, it's design. Flow is not accidental. Flow is not a matter of mood. Flow is not luck. It is deliberate. It is constructed. It is engineered. The state of effortless focus, high productivity, and deep engagement does not appear spontaneously. It emerges when the right conditions are consistently enforced. That is the key. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeat it. Flow isn't found. It's built. Let it govern every decision. Let it shape every habit. Let it guide every system. Many chase flow blindly. They hope it will come. They believe motivation or inspiration will trigger it. That is a misconception. Motivation is fleeting. Inspiration is unreliable. Flow requires structure, environment, and ritual. Systems enforce it. Habits prime it. Boundaries protect it. Energy enables it. You have a choice. Wait for luck or build flow intentionally. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeat it. The first principle: eliminate friction. Every barrier between you and execution fragments focus. Notifications, clutter, distractions, unclear priorities all reduce the likelihood of entering deep work. Remove obstacles. Simplify processes. Create paths of least resistance for action. When the mind can act without negotiation, flow is possible. You have a choice. Remove friction or waste energy. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeat it. Time blocking is essential. Schedule uninterrupted periods for high-value tasks. Protect these periods with absolute rigor. During these blocks, all distractions are silenced. Every notification is off. Every non-essential task is deferred. The environment, the schedule, and the mind align. Flow is not coincidental. Flow is a system. You have a choice. Guard time blocks or surrender focus. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeat it. Ritualized pre-work routines signal the brain. Small, consistent actions cue attention. A 5-minute meditation. A warm-up exercise. Reviewing the plan for the session. Organizing tools. Preparing the space. These rituals remove cognitive resistance. They prime the brain to execute. Momentum begins before work formally starts. Habits enforce readiness. Flow is triggered predictably. You have a choice. Build rituals or remain reactive. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeat it. Consider deep focus techniques, single tasking, Pomodoro intervals, batching related work. Each technique reduces cognitive switching. Each technique preserves energy. Each technique amplifies attention. Flow is a result of uninterrupted execution. Distraction kills it. Fragmentation prevents it. Energy mismanagement obstructs it. Systems, habits, and environment together create the conditions for flow. You have a choice. Engineer flow or chase it in vain. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeat it. Real-world example. The software engineer who structures every workday for uninterrupted focus. Morning deep work block. Coding without messages, email, or meetings. Ritualized start. Review tasks, clear desk, prepare environment. Single task on the highest leverage project. At the end, reflection and measurement. Flow emerges consistently. Compare. The engineer responding to emails mid-task, juggling multiple projects, and reacting to every ping. Flow never materializes. Output is erratic. Momentum stalls. That is the power of design. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeat it. Another example. The writer who enters a quiet space, sets a timer for 90 minutes, reviews notes, closes all digital distractions, and focuses solely on composing words. The ritual, the space, and the timing align. Ideas flow. Execution accelerates. The work progresses faster than expected. Compare attempting writing between calls, emails, and social media interruptions. Execution is slow. Ideas are fragmented. Flow is absent. Systems, preparation, and boundaries enforce performance. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeated. Systems enforce the conditions for flow. Step 1. Define high-value work. Step 2. Eliminate all possible friction. Step 3. Schedule uninterrupted time blocks. Step 4. Implement pre-work rituals to prime the mind. Step 5. Protect environment for focus. Step 6. Measure outcomes to refine the system. Step 7. Repeat consistently. Flow is the natural byproduct. It does not appear by chance. Flow is predictable. Flow is enforceable. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeated. Discipline is required. Without daily consistency, flow is sporadic. Habits must be repeated. Rituals must be enforced. Time blocks must be guarded. Boundaries must be maintained. Energy must be preserved. Without these focus fragments, work becomes reactive. Momentum stalls. Flow becomes a rare event. Systems enforce constancy. Discipline guarantees access. You have a choice. Commit to design or wait for luck. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeated. Even minor lapses disrupt flow. Notifications, unfinished tasks, interruptions, fatigue, or chaotic environments prevent entry. Compounding systems prevent these failures. Prepare the workspace. Protect time. Prime the mind. Guard energy. Ritualize pre-work. Reduce friction. Align surroundings. Enforce discipline. Repetition guarantees predictability. Flow becomes habitual. Flow is engineered. Flow is a reward of systems. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeat it. Internalize this principle. Flow is a consequence, not a gift. It is a product of habit, environment, energy, and systems. You cannot rely on luck. You cannot wait for inspiration. You cannot trust circumstance. You must create the conditions deliberately. Every distraction removed, every time block protected, every ritual executed, every boundary enforced, every high-value task prioritized contributes to flow. Flow is predictable when designed. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeat it. Consider the bridge to the final chapter. Once flow is engineered, the system must be maintained and compounded. The next chapter will teach the principles of reflection, reinforcement, and long-term habit consolidation. Flow becomes permanent when systems, environment, and incremental execution are continuously audited and refined. Flow isn't found. It's built. That is the bridge to Chapter 10. Review, reflect, reinforce. You have a choice. You can wait for luck. You can hope for inspiration. Or you can design flow intentionally. You can eliminate friction. You can guard your time. You can implement rituals. You can create deep focus environments. You can enforce discipline and systems. You can engineer peak performance consistently. Flow isn't found. It's built. Repeat it. Anchor it. Enforce it. Execute. Momentum compounds. Results follow. Chapter 10. No excuses, only execution. Excuses are easy. Execution is difficult. Excuses are immediate. Execution is deliberate. Excuses justify an action. Execution produces results. That is the key. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Let this guide every decision. Let this govern every action. Let this define your day. Most people talk about what they will do. They plan. They strategize. They explain why conditions are not right. They wait for permission, validation, or motivation. That is the trap. Talking consumes energy. Explaining consumes focus. Waiting consumes time. Momentum is lost. Results are delayed. You have a choice. Talk or act. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Consider the entrepreneur who launches a product without perfection. She executes, learns, adjusts. Feedback is immediate. Progress compounds. Compare this to the chronic procrastinator. Endless planning, endless refining, endless justifying. Nothing is delivered. Opportunities are lost. Momentum is absent. The world does not reward intention. The world rewards action. You have a choice. Execute or stagnate. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Execution requires discipline. Systems enforce action. Habits reduce negotiation. Boundaries protect focus. Environment aligns behavior. Energy is preserved. Every element of preparation is meaningless without execution. You can optimize all routines, blocks, and rituals. You can perfect your environment. You can remove friction entirely. If you fail to act, none of it matters. Action is the multiplier. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Stories illustrate this clearly. The athlete who trains daily, even when unmotivated, wins consistently. The musician who practices scales daily, even without an audience, masters the craft. The writer who writes 500 words every day produces a book in months. Execution compounds. Discipline ensures continuity. Momentum accumulates. Compare. Those who talk endlessly about ambition but act inconsistently. Talent wasted. Opportunity lost. Energy dissipated. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. The system is simple. Step 1. Define the highest value action to execute now. Step 2. Remove barriers to action. Step 3. Execute immediately. Step 4. Measure completion. Step 5. Repeat daily without exception. No debate. No negotiation. No waiting for mood, motivation, or permission. Systems exist to enforce execution, not to enable excuses. You have a choice. Execute consistently or remain average. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Even small actions matter. Writing one paragraph. Making one call. Completing one task. Incremental execution compounds into results over time. Large plans without action remain ideas. Grand strategies without execution remain theory. Execution turns potential into reality. Execution builds credibility. Execution produces proof. Excuses only produce justification. You have a choice. Execute small or stagnate. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Excuses appear in many forms. I don't have time. I need more information. Conditions aren't right. I'll start tomorrow. Recognize them. Reject them. Action is non-negotiable. Systems, routines, environment, energy, they exist to enable execution, not to justify delay. Discipline does not negotiate. Momentum does not pause. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Consider the professional who plans relentlessly but never sends the report. Weeks pass. Deadlines loom. Anxiety rises. Status quo is maintained. Progress stalls. Compare the professional who executes imperfectly but consistently. Deliverables are completed. Feedback is integrated. Momentum grows. Results accumulate. Execution is the bridge between intent and impact. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Internalize this. Talking creates noise. Execution creates proof. Planning is preparation. Execution is transformation. Preparation without execution is wasted energy. Systems without follow-through are meaningless. Habits without action are hollow. The high-value mindset is realized through doing. Execution is the ultimate measurement of discipline, focus, and momentum. You have a choice: excuses or execution. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Now enforce a final system. Review daily. Ask, did I execute? Did I take high-value action? Did I resist excuses? Did I implement my routines and systems fully? Correct gaps immediately. No rationalizations. No negotiation. No delay. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Stories compound this lesson. The entrepreneur who launched despite fear, the athlete who trained despite injury, the writer who published despite imperfection, they all act. Their momentum is unstoppable. Their results undeniable. They do not wait for the perfect moment. They do not wait for validation. They do not wait for approval. They execute. Execution is everything. Repeat it. The bridge to the conclusion. The high-value mindset is complete when all prior principles, discipline, focus, systems, environment, incremental progress, flow, are executed without compromise. Execution is the final metric. It is the ultimate proof. It converts knowledge into results. It transforms potential into reality. You have a choice. Execute relentlessly or remain theoretical. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Finally, this is your challenge. Act immediately. Identify one high-value action. Remove all friction. Execute now. Do not debate. Do not justify. Do not wait. Momentum compounds from action. Energy accelerates. Results accumulate. Excuses will appear. Ignore them. Execution is your standard. Execution is your measurement. Execution is your proof. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. And for this channel, remember this. If you want every chapter reinforced, every system drilled, and every mindset applied consistently, subscribe now and activate notifications. Systems only work when applied. Momentum only builds when you commit. This channel delivers actionable, repeatable guidance every week. Execution is everything. Excuses are easy. Subscribe. Repeat it. You have a choice. You can talk endlessly. You can justify an action. You can wait for the perfect conditions. Or you can execute. You can enforce discipline. You can implement systems. You can protect attention. You can act daily. You can build momentum. You can produce results. Excuses are easy. Execution is everything. Repeat it. Anchor it. Enforce it. Execute relentlessly.